Hello and welcome to another Major Market Movements End of the Week Market Review for July 31st, 2015. I'm Quad G, and in this video we're covering the PM complex, starting off here with gold, and this is a gold spot daily chart, and what I'm currently betting on is that this hammer candle here that took place, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days ago, did set a key low, a tradable low, and we've seen a corrective action to the downside, which may be complete. They're just right above 1080, and now my expectation is next week we may actually see some fall through to the upside that we've been anxiously waiting for. And the move up, the minimum that I'm expecting is up to about 1125, possibly even as high as 1150 to backtest this, basically this breakdown point here that took off right here about 1145, 1146. So we'll come up to test that zone if, however, we shoot right up into a full impulse right up here into, let's say, 1165, 1160. And from that point, we just kind of chop sideways underneath this significant trend line. That kind of movement may set up a continuation for a pop through that trend line and move up even further into the 1200 level sooner rather than later. But at a minimum, we'll test that 1125 to maybe even 1150 area, and then there's a chance that we could turn right back around and dive right back down into later into August, maybe even to September for a fresh lower low, maybe going as low as say 1040. I see that as a possibility. So how the market interacts with that trend line is going to be really key as to how the midterm develops. And let's take a look at the QG3, which we've popped back inside the Bollinger Bands as expected, and you can see that today's intraday high tested the 10 EMA that's come down here, that blue line, or not blue line, green line, and it's held as resistance for today. So early next week, I'm going to want to see this that 10 EMA break and come up and test the 20 DMA at a minimum. You can see right now it's floating here at about 1125 or so. Test that at a bare minimum, maybe even push above it a bit into that 1140 area. The weekly closes just as a negative candle. I guess you could call that I think if you measured it out there, you might find that it's a very minimal hammer candle. I wish that it had closed a little bit higher, maybe made a positive candle here, and that would have given us a harami potential, a bullish harami potential, but we didn't get it. So I would say more or less that's a neutral candle, and can't really rely upon that for producing or increasing the probability of an upside potential. I'm still leaning that way, but we can't rely upon the weekly close for heightening that probability. And the EWO, again, can't really tell you much about it other than we do have a positive divergence that's built up over time all the way back here to June 2013. We got the lower low in price, but the oscillator is still way up here as a higher low. Gold spot weekly on the RSI, same thing, got this positive divergence that's built up over the same period of time. And on the daily, we still have we really don't have a positive divergence that's built up here yet. If we did get one more incremental low, which I'm not betting on it right at this moment, but if we did, it would more than likely set up a positive divergence in this oscillator, the RSI. But if we back out here, I think I covered this last week. You can see that we've come down here to test this 20 level on the RSI daily, and every time we've done that in the past, we've seen some significant moves to the upside. Right here, for example, again, here's another test of the 20 here with a nice bump up. Here's another test of the 20 right about here. They got a nice move to the upside, well over 100 points. So that's the kind of potential that we could see out of such an extreme low here in the price in this oscillator. So, but so far as this week has unfolded, we're not confirming it just yet with some significant fall through to the upside. We might have to wait into next week. Gold on the MACD daily, still open to the downside on the daily, and on the weekly, open to the downside as well. So it's bearish. So overall picture for gold, I would have to say it's neutral to bearish, except for the LA wave count and the fact that we're at these extremely oversold levels in the RSI. So if it wasn't for that, the LA wave picture and those oversold, then I would have to characterize this as um, outrightly bearish. But I'm going to go ahead and classify it as neutral to bearish with a chance of a pop to the upside, maybe to test the 1125 to 1140 range. Okay, let's go to silver. Hold on a minute. Okay, so here's we're taking a look at silver here, and this is a linear chart, and we poked up above this trend line once back here. It was just a fake out. We popped up and then it reversed quickly back down and saw some fall through to the downside. But this go around, we actually seeing some daily closes above that trend line. So it's an indication to me that this trend line as a point of resistance is certainly weak and is allowing the price to bleed through it, which could lead to a breakout to the upside, maybe to test the come all the way up here to 1567 at a minimum, I think. But there's also this manic decline right here, way back here in June, that may get filled as well. Plus, if we put a Fibbo retrace on this, you'll see that the 61.8% Fibbo right up here at 1647 is also another possible target for a move to the upside. All right, so silver on the QG3, we did move up, and the price did test the 20 DMA before it got batted back down. So we got our first test of the 20 DMA. You can see that in previous weeks we've seen the 20 DMA serve as resistance a few times. So this is more or less the fourth or fifth time we've tested it since we've developed this downtrend. If we get a daily close above that next week, that's going to be an indication that that resistance may be ready to let loose, some potential to the upside. And the silver on the weekly, it looks like we are going to close as possible harami here, bullish harami. We've got several days of negative candles to the downside, and we pull off this small positive candle inside the previous negative candle. So that's a potential harami. To confirm it, I would want to see some substantial follow through to the upside next week, preferably coming up here and closing at or above this negative candle here that opened up at 1565 next week. If we fail to do that, if we stay just sideways next week for a close. You're going to scrub off this bullish potential out of this Harami. Just for those who may be curious what the heck I'm talking about, for a Harami pattern that was successful, let me look back here real quick, see if I can find one offhand. You can see that there's plenty of times where you get you get a descent, you get a positive candle, but you don't get any follow through. So a Harami can't really be counted on until you really get some follow through to back it up. Here's a prime example. You got several days of falling. Here's a Harami potential, but it didn't play out. Here's a good Harami potential that turned out just fine. We had several weeks of close to the downside, had a positive candle inside the previous candle, and then we popped up here and closed above the, well, it didn't quite close above that. Well, that's not a prime example. We had to go into the second week before we really confirmed it. So anyway, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. No, none there either. It looks like, for the most part, silver does not produce a whole lot of Harami reversals from what I'm seeing here, at least on a weekly basis. All right, carrying on. Again, we still maintain this positive divergence in the oscillator, the EWO, on the daily scale. Same thing with the RSI, positive divergence set up there as well. And the RSI, or the MACD daily, has come up and opened up above, signaling pulling up above the baseline there. So we're got a bullish alignment, if you will, to the upside on the daily, and on the weekly, we're still open to the downside. So overall for silver, I think there is some potential for a move to the upside. It's certainly not confirmed just yet, but we'll have to wait and see till next week, especially watching for that daily close above the 20 DMA. Pretty good indication that we may get our fall through to the upside finally. All right, we're going to take a look at platinum. Here's platinum on the weekly. Let's move to the daily. All right, so for the daily, over the last several days, we've kind of seen this what looks like a bear flag that looks like it could potentially be turning over here. Actually, this day closes as an inside triple key reversal at the end of this small uptrend. We get a close below that level. 1, 2, 3 positive candles to the upside, so it's an inside triple, which sets a key resistance right here. That high is at 993.10. So I'd have to say, oh, actually, hold on. Hold the phone. Didn't see that. Darn it. Actually, it's an outside key reversal because this week had a intra-week or intraday high today, just above yesterday's high, excuse me. So that's an outside move, and then closes below the previous 3 positive candles, so that's a triple. So outside triple key reversal, a little bit stronger than the inside move, inside triple. So that sets a key resistance at that high of 993.90. So while we're below that level, I'd have to say we're got a potential bearish turnaround here. We may see another leg to the downside while below that level. If you see that level broken, 983.90, it would mean that a bearish candle was spurned and could cause a breakout to the upside. Let's see, the QG3 is still in a bearish alignment to the downside here, though contracted just a little bit. Platinum on the weekly. Last week we didn't get the hammer candle. This week we don't see any fall through, just the basically inside negative week. So that's neutral. And platinum on the daily EWO. We don't have a positive divergence in this oscillator, but I would say if we did see a move to the downside and put in an incremental new low next week, that would be a potential candidate for a positive divergence in this oscillator. If we get just an incremental low. And the RSI, same thing, probably if we got an incremental low, it may set up a positive divergence in that oscillator as well. And let's see. The MACD has moved over into a positive alignment to the upside on the daily. And on the weekly, we're still open to the downside, so it's bearish. So overall picture for platinum is still looking bearish here, especially below that 983.90 level. So be paying attention to that in the short term. Let's move to the Elliott wave charts. All right, so let's go to gold first. All right, so here's the micro count that we're looking at in gold. It's performing pretty much as expected with an ABC move to the downside and now this impulsive move to the upside today. We got this impulsive move up and then we just kind of sidelined into the close. So that's looking bullish in the short term while we're above C of 2, which found its bottom just right there at about 1080, just a tick below. Let's see, did we get a tick below? No, we didn't actually. At least not on TV. That's not registered, even though it looks like it hit that 1090 level, 992. It's actually just above it according to the TV here. Oh, there it is, 1079.93. There it is. So, so we hit the 78.6% Fibo on the micro time scale here, and we got the bounce. So things are moving along swimmingly there, as I would expect. So, but going into next week, we are going to have to keep above that 1079.92 or 80 level and see some follow through to the upside, which I think is going to fill in this manic drop and maybe even this one up here, all the way up here at about 1140. Okay, GDX. Oh, not GDX. Silver. We're counting a ending diagonal to the downside here. 5 waves down complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It took 15 days to get there, trading days to the downside, and now we're so far from that bottom. We're now into the 5th day to the upside. So, general rule of thumb with ending diagonals is that you want to see an impulsive move right back up to the origination point of the ending diagonal, which is $15.94 or 84 cents. You want to see that take place, preferably quicker than it took for the ending diagonal to develop. So this move to the upside would preferably be done inside 15 trading days. So we've burned up 5 days so far. So the next 10 days, it would be preferable to see this the price action come up and either test or exceed the 1584 level. And right now, I would say that wave 1 is complete. We got the ABC done, complete. Wave 2 looks like it is finished. And now we're starting our wave 3 up. Or it could also be a wave A, B, C as well, a corrective move. Just like gold back here, I did put in the alternative, which is A, B, and C, or possible wave 3. It's too early to tell for sure. All right, GDX. The piercing bottom has so far held support right there at 1317. We haven't gone below it, but on the flip side, we have not seen any significant fall through. out of that piercing bottom either. So still waiting for that. We may see it next week. If we zoom in here a little bit further, we still have the inverted head and shoulders pattern still intact. We did get a nice bump up out of wave 2 here, which looks like it is complete. And now just expecting some follow through. Hopefully prices next week will keep above today's low and come up here, fill in this gap, fill in this mania right up here into the $16 level, potentially. And the QG3 for GDX, continuing to fiddle through this 3 EMA, that orange line, still underneath the 10 EMA, which has served as a resistance recently in this descent. So next week, I would want to see a daily close above the 10 EMA to confirm that we are in fact starting this bounce to the upside. The 20 DMA is another key level of resistance, and right now it's right there at about in the low 15s. I think it could be defeated on a pop-up, though. I think some may use it as a point of selling and bat it down maybe at least once before seeing it broken. Okay, so that's it for our coverage for the PM complex for this week. I hope you all have a great weekend. We'll be talking to you later. Adios.